Imagine sneaking up on a British warship, not in a rowboat, but inside a tiny wooden egg that sinks beneath the waves. Sounds like a movie. But in 1776, a man named David Bushnell actually built that egg. Meet the Turtle. History's first one-man submarine. Clever, stubborn, and totally audacious. In the tumult of the American Revolution, creative thinking mattered. With the Continental Navy small and the Royal Navy massive, Americans tried unusual ideas. One of the boldest came from Connecticut inventor David Bushnell, a cramped, hand-powered submersible designed to attach explosives to enemy ships. It was part brilliance, part mad science, and all heart. The Turtle looked a bit like two soapboxes glued together, about 10 feet long, oak planking sealed with tar, and just roomy enough for one sweaty operator. It had hand cranks, a foot treadle, bladder pumps for air, and a tiny compass. To move, the pilot would crank propellers and turn a screw to sink or rise. To attack, they carried a detachable, time-fused keg, essentially a floating bomb, that they tried to fasten to an enemy hull with a drill manual, claustrophobic and heroic in the face of physics. The most famous mission happened in New York Harbor in September 1776. The Turtle was piloted toward HMS Eagle, a British flagship. Our underwater hero did everything right, but trouble struck. The hull of the Eagle may have had copper or iron sheathing, or the drills simply couldn't bite. After exhausting the air and failing to attach the charge, the pilot had to abandon the attempt. The Turtle didn't sink a warship that night, but it did create a story that outlived the failure. The submarine failed for predictable reasons: primitive technology, cramped controls, limited air, and ships that were tougher than expected. Add jittery currents, darkness, and a human who had to drill like a bored carpenter while holding their breath. And you get an experiment that was brave, but unrealistic to expect victory from. Failure or not, the Turtle mattered. It proved bold engineering could challenge the sea. It seeded ideas for underwater warfare, showed how ingenuity could punch above a small nation's weight, and, let's be honest, it gave the revolution one of its best weird inventions. The Turtle is a story about trying the impossible and doing so with cleverness and stubbornness. The Turtle was operated by a single person, took water as ballast, and could stay down for only a short time. Reports say operators nearly suffocated, got seasick, and generally wished for more elbow room, and legend claims at one point the Turtle even got stuck under a lobster pot. Charming, absolutely. So, was it a failure? In strict military terms, yes. But in the human story of invention, it's a glorious kind of partial victory. It taught lessons, inspired later submariners, and gave the revolution a moment of audacious experiment. David Bushnell didn't sink a flagship, but he did push the envelope, and history never forgets those who push. If you liked this bite of salty, slightly absurd history, hit like, drop a comment telling me whether you'd volunteer to pilot the Turtle, and subscribe for more Colonyverse stories from the hearth to the high seas. How did people survive? With grit, guile, and sometimes bizarre gadgets.